Hi everybody, welcome to EZLynx Live. I'm your host Ryan Buckham. On today's show. Today we're going to be talking about some of the cool, great features in our Q1 release. Everything from Client Center to Automation Center to text messaging to Submission Center. We have got a ton of stuff to talk about today. So let's go ahead and get started with Client Center. We've made a cool enhancement here in Client Center that allows you to be able to do the routing for direct bill payments for your insureds. Previously inside of Client Center, your insureds could actually make payments through Applied Pay for their agency bill. And while that's really important, we love to have that feature in there, we do realize that there's two types of kind of billings, right? You have agency bill and you have direct bill. So what about direct bill? What are we going to do with that, right? Well, we've introduced some cool new functionality that allow your insureds to be routed to the right channel to be able to make payments on direct billing. So let's get Client Center pulled up and let's take a look at this. So to be able to see this, first off, obviously you want to make sure you have a policy that's direct bill, correct? But what you'll want to do is whenever you go into Client Center, and this of course is the agent view, it's a read-only view, but this is very similar to what your actual insureds are going to see. They can either go through the policies or the payments. If they select payments, they'll be able to select the policy, and right here, make a payment. What that's going to do is it's going to route them over to the actual carrier site where they can make the payment right then and there. So previously, we allowed you to be able to take your agency bill payments here utilizing Applied Pay. For those customers who have direct bill, they'll be able to select this option right here, go straight to the carrier site, to the payment portal, and make their payment there. So very easy for your insureds to be able to stay on top of their payments. All right, well, in keeping with payments, let's go ahead and jump to our next enhancement. This is a really big enhancement that we had here in Q1 for Applied Payments and our accounting users. So in the past, whenever somebody made a payment, let's say they made it on an invoice, if you needed to reverse that invoice for some reason, there was kind of a complicated workflow here, right? You had to go into Applied Pay, you had to issue the refund there, then you had to go back into EZLynx accounting and remember to also reverse the transaction there so everything would balance out for you, correct? Not anymore. With this release, if you void a transaction inside of Applied Pay, it's going to pass information over to EZLynx accounting so that it will automatically reverse the actual charges and everything for you. Really good, reduces some of the legwork for you. So let's get accounting pulled up and let's see this cool new payment enhancement with Applied Pay and EZLynx accounting. All right, so the first thing that we want to do, here we go. We're in Applied Payments, and this is where we recommend that you start from, right? So if you're going to be refunding money that has been paid through Applied Pay that is accounted for inside of EZLynx accounting, you want to always start inside of Applied Payments. Why? Because it's going to pass notification from Applied Pay into EZLynx to automate the actual reversal and refunding in EZLynx accounting. That way you don't have to go back in and do it. You can see we have a whole bunch of different transactions here in our test account. Some refunded, some are reverse requested. Let's actually go here to like Holly Will. So if you wanted to refund Miss Walls, come down here, you click on refund. It's going to ask you to confirm that you want to actually refund it, right? And then the status that you'll actually see is going to be reverse requested. Now, it might take a few minutes for it actually to process in the system. Once it actually does process in the system, it'll actually come over here and it'll say reverse requested. And then if we were to say refresh this, we can see it says refunded. Now that it's refunded, it is now passed information over into EZLynx accounting. So if we were to come in here to this original invoice that we wanted to refund, we can see that there's a receipt for it. If we refresh this page, we can now see that, yep, there we go. Here's the offsetting transactions. We can see that it's been reversed. There was the original charge, and here's the reversal. So everything now balances out in accounting. Once again, we recommend that if you want to refund or void a payment, start in Applied Pay. That way, it'll pass all of the information out of Applied Pay into EZLynx and save you time so you don't have to go in and manually enter anything. All right, for this next enhancement, I'd like to start it with a question. Have you ever had a client you want to maybe email them a quick overview of some of their policies, right? Maybe the carrier, the premium, the effective and expiration dates. What would you have to do to actually send that email over? You might have to put together a real nice table and spend time organizing all that stuff. Would it be easier if you could just insert a personalized tag into the body of the email that just grabbed those policy details and threw it right in there automatically for you? where I'm going here is that's one of the things that we now have here in Q1. We have a new personalized tag where you can actually add policy details into your email. So this is a really cool feature. We're excited to bring you this. Let's get in the communication center and see how this looks. All right, so we have our customer's account right here that we're going to actually send the email out on with the policy details in it. But let's first take a step back and let's actually see how you actually get in there and do this. So if you go in here to your templates, this is just like building any other template you have in the system, right? This makes it a real quick, easy way to build out things that look professional or save you time having to constantly construct stuff. We have our first one right here, policy details. It's a single step. If we go into edit this campaign, we can see that it looks very familiar to what you're used to seeing when you see, one of these templated emails. One thing that we do want to kind of point out here is there's a couple different types of policy detail insertable tags that you can use. So if we come in here and we scroll down to the bottom, we can see the ones that we've got, right? So you can send out a list of their active policies, their inactive policies, if some have been canceled, or let's say they have a pending policy. Let's say they have a policy that is not really active in the system yet because it has a future effective date, right? Well, you still may want to send out information on that policy as well. So you can select the specific ones that you want to see. For this demo, for the purpose of this, we just have their active policies kind of set up. So we'll go ahead and leave here. Let's go back into that account for that customer. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go right over to our campaigns. We're just going to click Add Campaign. And we're going to search for that policy detail one. All right, so we have a whole bunch of just demo stuff in here. But there's the policy detail one that we want. It's going to go out to Judy there. So if we go ahead and hit Schedule, that's going to send off the email just like before. And whenever you get the active policy details, I'm going to pull over a screen. We have a mail viewer where we can kind of see this stuff when we're in our test environments. This is right here what the actual email is going to look like. It's going to have a built-in table for you already with the policy number, the effective, the expiration dates, the carrier, the premium, the line of business, and the status, whether it's active or inactive. You may wonder, well, why do we have a status column if we're sending out one on, their active policies? Well, you might want to actually combine and do both, right? Maybe you want to send one out with active policy and a pending policy. It's important to be able to identify which is which, right? And that's why we have the status in here. So this is a really, really cool feature. It's another way to make it a little bit easier for you guys to be able to get information out to your insureds without having to do a lot of legwork of building an email every single time somebody wants this information. With this release, we've also made some enhancements inside of Automation Center. In our previous releases, you might have seen the ability for your insureds inside of Client Center to be able to refer a friend and also give yourself a Google review, right? But a lot of those things, they were centered around your actual insured being in Client Center and taking some sort of action in there. Maybe they were adding a document or issuing a change request. Some sort of action had to trigger the referral and the review to pop up, right? Well, we've updated Automation Center so that actually you can send out referral links and the Google review based off it just triggers an Automation Center. So like the addition of a policy can now prompt an actual referral to go out to the insured. So this is a really, really big win. Let's get into Automation Center. We want to show you guys these 3 new actions that we've now added to help you guys grow your business from a referral standpoint and garner better reviews, hopefully. So let's pull up Automation Center. All right, so what I want to do kind of talk about real quick. Today, when you're in Client Center, let's say one of your insureds is in there and they upload a document or they put in a change request, right? Today, when those things happen, the system prompts them to do 2 things. Please rate our agency on a scale of 1 through 5, being very satisfied as 5 or not satisfied. Depending on what they select, if it's like a 4 or 5, then the system will prompt them to either provide a Google review or maybe refer a friend, right? This is all done, though, however, inside of Automation Center. So your insureds actually have to do something. But what happens if maybe you're on the phone with a customer and you want to fire off one of the Google review links through an email, or you want to text message them a referral link, right? How do you do that? Well, that's what these 2 new enhancements, or 3 new enhancements rather, allow inside of Automation Center. So if we scroll all the way down to our management system triggers, today what will end up happening for the new customer, the additional policy renewal, or manual workflow, Anytime a new customer is added to the system, additional policy or renewal comes in, you can have it automate sending out a Google review, right? One of the ones that I really happen to like is I happen to like if it's a manual workflow. Manual workflows are great so that if somebody's in your office and you're interacting with them and you're talking with them and you like how something went and they said, yeah, I'd be glad to refer a friend, you can initiate the manual workflow and it'll immediately shoot over either the text message referral or an email link for Google reviews or a referral. So one of the things I like to do is just, if you set up this action, come down here, here they are. You have the ability to send a referral request from email, send it through text, or send it through Google reviews. If you did say, for example, the Google reviews or the other ones, what's great here is you can choose who do I want it to go to. When I fire this thing off, is it always going to go to the primary applicant or the primary contact on a commercial account? Or will it go to the co-applicant or the secondary contact on a commercial account? You choose how you want that to happen. So for example, if we go in, let's say we created this workflow, and we go into Charlotte Reese here, and we had a really positive experience. Charlotte Reese called in, she had some questions about her policy, we went over some information with her, and she was really, really happy. And you say, hey, you know, if you know anybody who's interested in being part of our agency, we'd love to send over a referral link. And Charlotte says, yeah, I know a couple of people, go ahead. So all you have to do is come over here to the workflow option. There you go. Go down to start the workflow, right? And all you have to do is manually start that workflow and it'll immediately send out however you have this set up. Maybe it's that email, maybe it's that text message. It'll immediately fire that thing off to the insured here so that they can give you that review or the referral. This is a great ability to be able to capitalize on those positive experiences you have with a customer right there on the phone or in the office. Our next enhancement has to do with the personal URLs, or PURL. You might have seen that little acronym there in the side navigation menu for your customers, right? Sending a PURL, right? Sending the PURL to a prospect is a great way for you to be able to provide them with the ability for them to enter in details for a quote through your consumer quoting portal. This is a great tool. In the past, you were able to do this through sending an email with the link, the PURL link inside of the email. We've updated it. Why? Because texting is now one of the chief forms of communication at agencies. A lot of people send text to their insureds, and a lot of times it's a better response rate. So we've now added the ability for you to be able to send that PURL through a text message, or both at the same time if you want. So let's pull up the management system and let's take a look at this real quick. So we've got a new customer, right? This is a prospect for the agency, and in the past, you used to be able to send out PURLs, you know, and those PURLs would give them access to access your consumer quoting portal where they could fill out information and then be able to get on with the quoting process. Email is one way of communicating, right? But we understand that times have changed once again. So now we've introduced, this is a nice new page. It's very similar to what used to be there. You do still have your email option where you can actually send out the PURL via an email if you'd like to, but you can also now choose to use a text message. So this will send and actually text Charlotte Reese here, her mobile number. It'll send the CQ link there. That way Charlotte can go and start filling out information so you guys can start the quoting process with them and try to earn some new business. So if you want to, you can also do both, right? You can send them an email and you can send them a text. Both of those options are available to you. So for example, if we just wanted to do text for now, we go ahead and send that text. It's going to actually pop in, and we have one that we tested earlier, with here's the URL, and of course, this is very similar. If you were to go into the system and pop that URL in there, here's your CQ portal, just like you're used to seeing your insureds will see whenever they go in. They put in their information, and then they're off to the normal submission process through the CQ portal. Great enhancement for us to be able to add so that you guys can actually go in and once again send these PURL links out either through email, text, or you can choose both if you'd like to. While we're here in the management system, another thing to kind of note is we've expanded some of our lines of business with respect to support for the proposal process, right? We've now added 11 lines of business that can now be supported by proposals inside of EZLynx. So let's kind of go into EZLynx. We'll show you the proposal process in general, but I really want to highlight the list of the 11 lines of business real quick. So we've updated some of our quote proposals in the system to be able to support some additional lines of business. We already have a lot of lines of business that we support, but we also had some new. So let's, for example, let's go up to documents. Let's go ahead and add a document. Let's go ahead and add a proposal. Now you can name that, of course, what you want, but the really important thing to do
is this list is a lot longer. We have a lot more lines of business that we now support. So let me run through the list for you. Miscellaneous bond, notary bond, license and permit, pollution liability, vacant property, title bond, miscellaneous, commercial bond, surety bond, liquor liability, and small farm and ranch. Those are all going to be things now that you can actually build a proposal off of. So these are 11 new lines of business, or not new, but they're already in the system. But 11 lines of business now that you're going to be able to create proposals from that you didn't have the ability to do so prior to this release.
In our previous releases, we talked about the integration of Tarmica, our commercial lines rater, into Submission Center. And this has been a very, very big enhancement that we've added into Submission Center. We took it a bit, one step further with this release, and we now have the ability to identify carriers that come back out of Tarmica as alliance partners, right? So there's a little bit different workflow, right? Whenever you're trying to go through the binding process of a carrier that you have a direct appointment with versus one that you're going through an alliance partner or a MAP. Right? So we wanted to be able to identify those for you inside of Tarmica, right? So that you can take the appropriate action or know what you need to be able to do. So let's pull up Submission Center and let's take a look at this cool new enhancement. Okay, so to start off, what we want to do, let's focus real quick here. We've got Tarmica pulled up. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this who's been utilizing this great integration in Submission Center. One of the things we want to highlight down there in those quote responses, those cards that you see, notice that there's an MA. Right? That indicates to you that this is a market access, right? So for all of our alliance partners who go through an underwriter in order to go through the binding process, this indication on these cards here in Tarmica let you know that this is going to go through an underwriter. This is not something you have a direct appointment with. So what does this materialize? How does it look like in EZLynx? Let's get over to EZLynx. Here we go. So if we go to actual carrier submissions, notice that on two of these cards, right, we have the Liberty Mutual and we have Nationwide. It is quoted and it shows market access. Once again, this information, this market access, when you ran the quote in Tarmica, it actually pushed that information over and automatically flagged these in EZLynx as market access for our alliance partners, right? That you need to go through an underwriter. If we wanted to jump into one of these and kind of go into, say, submitting stuff to the underwriter, you just have to go ahead and select the line of business. Make sure that the status is either quoted or proposed. It's going to be one of those statuses in order to do the sending the bind request. Make sure your underwriter's set. You go ahead and click the send bind request, and then here's all the information. All this gets packaged up for you, gets sent over to the underwriter, and you're off to your normal underwriting process in order to be able to bind the policy and get everything done. One thing I do want to kind of highlight, notice CNA right here. See how CNA does not have any kind of indicator to it, or it's not shown as a market access? If we go up to the Submission Center admin page and we go to carriers, right, we have CNA here. We can, if you know ahead of time that this is a market access, this is going through an underwriter, you can manually set these if you want. When you toggle that on, it's going to remove, if we turn it off real fast. Notice you see producer code, we toggle it on, producer code goes away. Why? Well, because you don't have a direct appointment with that carrier, so you're not going to have a producer code. You're going to be interacting with the underwriter. So you can manually set these, or if it was pushed over from Tarmica, that'll actually get toggled on from you in the response that comes back with the quote. Really cool, great integration that we've been able to add into the system to kind of help identify these different, a direct appointment with a market access for our alliance partners here in EZLynx Submission Center. All right, before we go, one of the things the EZLynx product team we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to give you guys these little tidbits, right? Did you knows about the management system. And one of the cool things that we had in this release is you now have the ability when you're sending a one-off email campaign, just a single email, you now have the ability to select from some of your pre-built templates. This is neat because it allows you to at least have a little bit better email put together if you have a nice structured template with some nice branding on it, versus it just being a basic email with your signature on the bottom, right? You can make it look a little bit nicer. So let's go ahead and real quick get into Communication Center. Let's create an email real fast, and I just want to show everybody where this option is. It's pretty neat. So if we go ahead, right there, let's go ahead and send an email. Okay. So a couple things. One, nice new modal, or page rather, that appears. It used to be a modal that would pop up. We've kind of done some redesign work right here to make it look a little bit better for you, but some cool things to note. One, right off the bat, if you come down here to where it says email templates, you can actually select from one of the templates that you have
at your agency. Now, what does this list consist of? Well, this list is going to consist of email templates that have basically 0 steps and 0 rate periods. It means once you fire off the email, it's going to immediately send out, that template, right? It does not at this point in time handle multi-step campaigns, right? It's only, like it says here, single-step campaigns will be visible here, but it does allow you to make your single one-off emails look a little bit more professional, right? You can use one of those nice templates that you've spent time to try to work on to further put, your branding and all that stuff into the actual email. So, cool little thing. We definitely wanted to highlight this for you. All right, well, we hope you liked that little tidbit. Another thing I do want to kind of highlight before we kind of say goodbye for today is you're going to notice a change in the system with respect to the Assign To field. Right now, the Assign To field basically dictates the ownership of the account. Well, we've made some changes to that. It's now going to be relabeled as the Assigned Producer. You're also going to see an additional field called the CSR field. So, why are we doing this? What's the point, right? Well, the Assigned Producer field is going to dictate, kind of from a sales standpoint, who's handling that account. The CSR field, that's going to help dictate for you who's servicing the account. So this provides a little bit better differentiation when you're looking at your accounts as to seeing who's trying to sell on this one, who's responsible for servicing it. It's a cool new feature. We're glad to have this out in the system for you. When you first create an account, please note that the CSR field will automatically default to the Assigned Producer. You can go into the details and change it if you want. That's completely up to you. But it's going to be a cool new thing that you're going to be seeing in the system. So happy to bring that to you. One other thing that we do want to kind of talk about, we did it last year, we're doing it again this year. If we could get the graphic pulled up real quick. Okay, here we go. AppliedNet 2023. It's going to be October 23rd through the 26th at the Ario Hotel in Las Vegas. I really encourage you guys, get registered, come out, see us. The EZLynx product team is going to be there. We're going to have a lot of really cool features to highlight this year. Last year's show, we did a lot. We had a couple of features, but a lot of it was stuff that you're familiar with in the system. This year, there's going to be a lot of brand new functionality that we're currently working on to get unveiled at AppliedNet. So really cool things throughout the whole system that we're going to have. So I really encourage you guys, get registered, come on out. You'll be able to meet with the EZLynx product team. We even have a session where we'll sit down at tables with you and take feedback and ask questions about stuff. So we love it. Product loves going to this thing, and we love to see you out at it. So please get registered. All right, I guess that's all the time we have for the show today. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And like we say here in Texas, we'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.